It was then I found myself in absolute peace. Nothing could bother me or burn me out. Damn it. Why isn't this gorgeous quill pen working properly? Amazon crap. Well, this purple pen shall do. Now, after I reached Nirvana, I crossed the magical waters. But that is for another time. Yes.
Oh, welcome. You made it. Welcome to my study. And thanks for being here. I want to share with you 3 things that help you avoid burnout. But before I start, I want to share a short story. January 1st, 2024. Oh man, I was hyped up. I did a full day seminar about life strategies and how to really navigate the rest of the year. So I had a lot of fun. I was buzzing, and weeks of January were then all video business meetings at one after the other. And along with that, I had to coach people. I had my own auditions. I'm an actor. I was on fire. I was moving well, moving with the wind. And then that second weekend of January, there was another half-day seminar with a brain coach, Jim Quick. I had to take it. It was great. It was awesome. And then the next day, I took another half-day seminar for business strategy. And I just was like, I'm going to do everything all at once. January's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. And I then had to start locking in crew for an upcoming shoot. I had to find location. I had to gather new actors. And everything was going great until one actor dropped out. And this was very hard to deal with because I had to replace him and I have little time. So it was like I could be burned out for weeks and then give up and then momentum goes down, or let me be a little overwhelmed for an hour, 2 hours max, and then get back to not being overwhelmed and not being burned out. The reason I'm telling you this is not because I'm doing a lot in January, pat in the back for me, but really because you can do everything you want to do, and you can pack it if you organize it properly in a month and not be burned out. Now, it's February right now, 2024. How many of you out there are starting to get burned out and feeling like, oh man, going into March, I want to do all these things. I'm not going to do them now. I'm burned out. You don't have to be. It does take practice, but I have 3 things that can really help. So the first one, it's simple. Not enough people do it. And I'm just going to label it as self-care. And that could look like many different things. For me, that's like 2 baths a day with Epsom salt. I'm serious. I take a lot of baths, and I believe it was Benjamin Franklin that took baths and then went into his meditation and reading, and then he went to work. So I kind of borrowed that from him, but I love it. And when I'm a little overwhelmed, especially after a workout, I take an Epsom bath, and that really helps with the muscles and the mind. But what about when you're overworked here in your brain? You need that relaxer. You need something like that. I also take walks almost every day, and that is something to be said for. If you're present in a walk, the rest of the day is better. And these are all routines, right? Now, I first want to say a disclaimer. You can't just take one bath and think everything's gonna be good. You can't just take one walk. It has to be consistent over time, and then things can be improving. Now, you might know a lot of this. You probably could teach people how to do routines, but do you have a routine that serves you, that gives you that feeling of, all right, you know what? I got my routine. I'm feeling good. I'm in alignment with myself. Let's do those hard things. Do you have that in place? If you don't, you got to get one. Cold showers, that's one of mine. So if I take a bath in the morning, first thing I do after is a cold shower. That helps. And in a nutshell, I'm not going to go on a long routine here, but I'll sit down with my tea or healthy coffee, which is clean coffee, not anything bad in it, and I'll do my 15 minutes to 25 minutes of reading. And when I read a book that I'm interested in, I zone out and I implement after I read it. I highlight during, and it's just one of my favorite things to do. I do that almost every morning, and then at least 15 minutes, sometimes 30, 40 minutes of listening to something for mindset and like, how am I going to strategize the week so I'm not overwhelmed, so I am more productive? How can I get clear? So that is something that is so key, having the routine that sets you up for success. And what I've learned over the years is something cool. And I urge you to do this. Action plan. Get a notepad, write this down. Make 4 or 5 notes, bullet points of what the perfect day would be for you, or perfect routine quadrants. So imagine 15 minutes for a walk, 15 minutes of conversation with your kids or your spouse or your good friend. Like me, 15 to 20 minutes of reading, 15 to 20 minutes of actual mindset and strategizing the week. So write that down and put the amount of time that you would want, okay? So a perfect day, you don't have to worry about being somewhere. And once you have that gathered, I urge you to just try to carve out time to make that happen. And do this for like 2 weeks. If you could do it every day, and you can, you will find a lot of changes in you. Now, you might not be able to sustain 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, and that's 2-3 hours before you start your day or before you go to work. But eventually you can incrementally shorten it. And what that does is it allows your brain to still feel what it needs to feel to have a successful day and to not burn out, because you have these great routines in place. You can definitely shorten them. So before you know it, let's say your routine is walking around the block, listening to your favorite song, reading and sipping tea. And that all may take an hour if you really did it how you wanted to. Eventually you bring it down, it could take 5 to 10 minutes. You literally can just go outside, get the fresh air. You can read the book in the fresh air, sip your tea, and then either play the music while you're reading or on the way to work or wherever you need to go. And your brain, it triggers all that you worked up for before. So it's like conditioning, and it's really exciting. It's something I love to do, and it helps. That's number 1. Get a routine that serves you. Number 2 is set boundaries. So you have to set boundaries in life, personal. You have to set boundaries for business, for emails, for texts. You can't just let everyone distract you and everyone put their weight on you, because you don't need to be carrying everyone's weight. And that's how we get burned out. When we're trying to do everything for ourselves, but then we stop doing it for ourselves, and then we go do that task. We check that email right away when we wake up. We check that text when we wake up. And if you do that, you're starting to be in everyone else's agenda. And then guess what? When you don't do what you know you want to do, what you feel good about doing, you're going to feel burned out, because there's 2 things that are happening. Emotionally, you aren't serving yourself. And then your time gets cut in half because you're trying to do everything for everyone else. Now, there's nothing wrong with contributing and being awesome to other people, but you have to learn how to say no. You got to learn when to say yes. And a great question that I ask is, if someone asks me to do something or to do a project, this happened to me in the last 2 months. 2 people, different people, don't know each other. They both asked me to do some film project with them. And I just said no immediately, because I knew what I had in plan for the next 3 to 4 months. And I have a lot going on. I can't give them and devote the time that they would want. You know, I'm not going to do half of the work. I want to be all in if I'm going to help someone. So I said no. And I just think about it now. If I said yes to those 2 people, man, I would be burned out, because I'm doing the needle moving stuff. I'm making sure what I'm doing is serving the big agenda, the vision, the thing I wrote down and put on my board. If it's serving that, then I'm going to say yes. So that's a simple, easy way. You got to set boundaries. You have to train people too to respect your boundaries, because people are not going to respect your boundaries right away. They're going to be expecting things from you because you've been like this. And then suddenly you're like, I don't check my emails every hour of the day. Like me, I check them 2 times a day. When I'm feeling a little not so disciplined, maybe 3 or 4, 5, but I am not checking my email every hour on the hour. I don't have the notification on Same with text. I don't have a sound coming out because it takes you out of the zone. And when you are out of the zone, it can take you up to 2 hours to get back into flow. So this is a really, really important thing to think about. Boundaries. Now, you can set boundaries with emails. You can let people know, have an autoresponder that says, hey, now I'm only checking emails at this time and this time. And just have that set out for 2 weeks. So then people start to realize, oh, okay. And just say, this is something I'm doing. It's helping me with my time and organize my life. And it'll allow me to devote more time to you when we connect. Something like that. Boundaries, baby. Number 3 is diversity. Diversify. Now, what's diversify mean? It's not your bank account. It's not your bank account. It's your creative account. What are you doing besides acting? What are you doing besides the mundane thing you have to do? It's really important to get the creative juices flowing with extracurricular activities that are not in your primary field. You don't have to stay with them for years or months, unless you become obsessed and then you found a new hobby. That's great. But really, what you need to do is utilize them and have fun with them, get your brain focused on something else for a little so you're not burned out with all this stuff in front of you. Then you get the creative juice, you come back, and you will do better. You will be more focused, and it all goes to all the things in your lives. Relationships. If you go to the gym, your relationships are better. If you have better relationships, you're gonna wanna go to the gym. You're gonna wanna eat healthier, You're learning piano and you're getting somewhere, you're gonna wanna go harder into acting and figure out what you can do. What's your next level? That is diversify. So these are the 3 things. And they can very much serve you, help you avoid burnout. I hope this helped you consider that you have options, more than one option. You don't have to melt away. You don't have to give up. It's just something that happens. We get a little overwhelmed and we have to check ourselves. Self-care, setting boundaries and diversify and get that creative juice in flowing. I hope that served you. I hope you're excited to do some journaling and reflect on this, and then schedule your self-care. Have reminders about setting boundaries, and then maybe find something new to learn or go somewhere different and just be creative outside of your primary field of interest. I think that you'll find it's really helpful. Also, if you're feeling stuck, if you're burning out and you need some more momentum, you can join the Discord. There's a link below. And this is something that all the serious actors are a part of. We support each other. I do weekly voice motivations and action steps, and you can join there. I would love to see you there. You can click the link below and figure it all out from there, and you'll have access to resources and people and me, and it's a great time. So check it out. Stay active with these 3 things and avoid burnout, and I wish you success. And now I'm gonna go back to writing in my journal with the pen, not that beautiful feather that doesn't work. Ta-ta. I said, ta-ta. Go on, get your journal. Go on.